Well, we're here in San Jose, California. We're having a conversation. My name is Debbie, and yours?
Mine is Yasker Pineda.
Oscar?
Yasker.
Yasker. Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
So you read the sign on the banner?
Yep. So I just want to get your side first before we start arguing. So what do you think veganism is?
Okay. Well, I have a very clear definition, and it's one that's accepted, and it's this. Veganism is a way of living which seeks to exclude, as far as possible and practicable, all forms of and exploitation of and cruelty to animals for food, clothing, or any other purpose. So that's an official definition of veganism. What do you think about that?
I mean, I feel like people who choose veganism is like, it's all right and all, but I feel it's not that much of a healthy lifestyle. Of course, there is others, how would you say it, like substitutions to like protein and stuff like that, but if you're trying to live kind of like a cheap lifestyle, like here in San Jose, everything's way too expensive. If you go to like any good supermarket, like tofu for example, that's like way overpriced. I feel like veganism is mostly just for like people that are like wealthy, I would say. So I feel like veganism does have its place in our society, but it's not for everyone, I feel.
Okay, so looking at this definition of veganism, it's saying you're seeking to exclude all forms of animal cruelty. So let's replace the word veganism with animal cruelty.
All right.
All right. So do you think that not being cruel to animals, is that a rich person's thing?
I mean, animals could be consumed without harming it in a form. Because, for example, I work at the halal guys. Over there, our motto is like, everything's halal, which means like animals lived a good life before, being turned into food. So
how do you nicely turn them into food?
I feel like just right when it's time to be like harvest, let's just say that, they are euthanized or put down in a humane way.
So how can you describe the humane way that they're put down?
I feel like most of them are just shot. I don't know. I feel like the most humane way would be just shot and that's it. I feel like that form, it would be less painful for the animal, and it's still humane to a point.
So what is your definition of humane?
Dying without any suffering right beforehand.
So does that apply to everyone or every animal?
Yeah, I feel like it.
So from an animal's point of view, are they happy with this? Are they thankful that you're being humane and killing them fast from the animal's point of view?
I mean, if I were an animal, if I was going to be, killed, I'd rather be as painless as possible. So in a way, I would be thankful for that,
Well, you can kill an animal in a painful way. You can kill them in a less painful way, but you could also not kill them, which is probably the best thing for the animal, right? Because do you think animals want to live?
I mean, I feel like some animals, yeah, they do want to live, but,
So they want to live, and we take their life away for them unnecessarily. We don't really need to kill them. We can survive healthfully without killing them, right?
I mean, as humans, we're kind of made for meat. We as humans need to consume a source of protein. So I feel like animals were just there, so we kind of just decided to eat them.
So we need protein for sure,
Yeah.
but we can have protein that doesn't cause harm, and we can have protein that causes harm, and the choice is ours.
I mean, the choice is not for everyone. Like, going back to what I first said, tofu gives out, only a small percentage of protein. If you were to get like a slice of meat at the supermarket for a source of protein, that would be like at most $10. But that's gonna, for $10, good amount of meat will give you a good amount of protein. For $10 of tofu, that just gives you like little cube. It's way too expensive.
I've been to supermarkets, and I find that the vegan food, which is the pastas, whole grains, beans, legumes, fresh fruits and vegetables, are really the cheapest food there. And that meat is very expensive. So, and I can tell you from personally, when I went vegan, I saved 25% of my food money because it was so much cheaper. Now, definitely, if you were to go with all the expensive vegan cheeses or expensive meat replacements, right?
Yep.
It might be more expensive, but you can very cheaply live on a vegan diet and more healthily. Meat has been proven to cause cancer. Vegetables haven't. Fruit hasn't. So do you think that the human body needs meat, or do we just need protein? We need calcium, we need iron, but we don't need meat itself. That's my opinion. What's your opinion?
In my opinion, I feel like it would be a lot better if we just ate meat. If you have that lifestyle. If, for example, if you're trying to get, all muscular and everything, you need like great source of protein. So if you're trying to just live as a normal human, normal, with just the minimum requirements of protein and calcium and everything like that, then sure, veganism would help. But at a sense, if you try to, work out or be more active, then at a point, then you would need meat.
Well, I'm going to ask you to, when you have a chance, watch the movie. It's a documentary called The Game Changer. And it talks about all the different athletes that are vegan, and there's only one male that qualified for the U.S. Olympic team in the Rio Olympics for weightlifting, and he was vegan. The only person in the United States who qualified for the Rio Olympics was a vegan. So it's definitely possible. Serena Williams, vegan. So there's lots and lots of athletes nowadays that are vegan. So they're getting their vegan protein. So we don't need it for health. We don't need it to build muscles. That's been proven. We don't need it for protein. We can get protein from plants. That's where animals get their protein. The cow gets its protein from plants.
Yeah, but we're not a cow. We don't have the digestive system to consume grass and all of that. But another thing we do have to consider is agriculture and how we produce our meats and our vegan options. For example, of course we need a lot more water for cows and everything like that, but we're able to just contain more meat in a smaller area than just crops across the country. And due to our population growing and increasing, we're actually running out of building areas. So for this society to actually continue, I feel like not everyone needs to consume meat. I'm not trying to be like, oh, you need to consume meat, but I'm just saying we don't need to all convert into veganism. We just have meat in our society, and I feel like it shouldn't change like that. So I feel like meat plays a big role in our society.
Definitely it does. And throughout history it has.
Of course.
And the question is, we look at it now and say, is it the right thing to do? So we know from a scientific point of view, we don't need meat to survive and to be healthy. In fact, meat causes cancer, meat causes heart disease, meat causes diabetes. So all these problems that humans have is caused by meat. So we don't need it. We're actually healthier when we eat plants. So we really have to ask, is it moral for what we're doing? Is what we're doing to animals moral? Can we morally justify the pain and suffering that we put them through?
I feel like anything that we do as humans has morals behind it. I feel like most people just wouldn't care for the animal. They just consume the meat.
That's true.
You know.
But is that the right thing to do? From the animal's point of view, is it moral for us to take a life when they don't want to die? How do we morally justify taking the life of a being that does not want to die?
I mean, you could say that about a lot of things, but morally killing an animal, I feel like they're just an animal. I feel like there's a difference between a domesticated, let's just say, domesticated cow and a cow meant for food. I feel like those two are already different types of animals.
Different in what way?
I feel like one has more emotion towards it. Like, I know cows have like emotions similar or more than a dog, and they can be a companion. But I feel like we have already domesticated that type of cow. The cow that we've been eating for many centuries are different. That I feel like they already accepted their fate in a way.
Do you think that these animals want to die?
No.
Do they feel suffering? Do they feel pain?
Up till the end point, I feel that's when they feel pain. But ethically, we try to minimize that. For example, if we as humans try to find an alternative to meat or clone a whole animal, at what point is it still an animal? If, for example, we've been able to create cells and tissue matter from an animal, at what point could we create a whole cow in a lab? Would that still be the same cow as in a field?
Yeah, that's a good question. And someday we're going to have to answer that. So I'm going to bring it back to now and the animals that we eat. And I'm going to ask you, how do we justify taking that life of that animal, even though it was bred on purpose to be cut up and put on our plates? That animal has feelings, that animal has emotions, the animal has a desire to live. So how do we morally justify taking it from them?
I don't think we can. It's just something that we do at this point. We've been doing it for centuries, so we became numb to a point.
Exactly, I agree with you 100%. So that's why we're here, to show people that we don't need to be numb that way. We need to think about what we're doing. We've also murdered people for centuries and centuries and centuries. Women have been raped for centuries and centuries. It doesn't justify it. And we can't say, well, we've always done it, so we'll just keep on doing it. So we're here to ask people to think about something that they have never thought about before. So how do you justify that for the animal? If you look at the animal in the eye, how do you justify, I'm taking your life, even though you want to live, I'm going to take your life to make a sandwich for me?
It's just something we've done already, so you can't really justify it.
So
I mean, you could, for the sake of not being hungry, even though there are alternatives, but some people just choose it, you know?
So it's a choice.
It's a choice.
So if we have a choice, why would we choose to be cruel versus to not be cruel? If it's a choice, and I believe it's a choice, very definitely. We get up in the morning and we make that choice every morning what's going to put on our plate. Why would you not choose the less cruel?
I feel we only choose it because it's the easiest option for us.
Easy. It is very easy. But that doesn't justify it, does it?
Not really. But, you know.
And it's getting easier. I mean, there's vegan options everywhere.
Yeah.
So if thinking about what we eat and if putting a little bit of effort into finding healthy plant-based food causes us to be less cruel, why would we not do that?
I feel like choosing meat will always be part of our society because we as humans, or just people in general, have just been growing up with meat in our faces. And for a whole society to change from meat to plant, it wouldn't be feasible because we've already been doing it, and I feel like it's part of our human nature to just consume meat.
Well, we've been doing it for many, many years, right, since forever, but that doesn't justify us continuing to do it. How do we justify the continuation? Once we become aware and we know this is cruel, how do we justify continuing to do it? We used to think that it was okay to own people. Slavery was legal. Slavery was moral. And people thought it was totally fine for centuries and centuries. And then we became aware and we realized, well, no, this is not right. We put a stop to it. Men have raped women forever and ever, but we have laws against it. We want to stop it. So it's because we've done it for a long time. It's not a real justification for it.
Of course. But I feel like, you know, even though if those things were always, well, not always illegal, but now that they are illegal, it's still going to continue on.
Exactly.
So I feel like
it's going to continue on, but you're not going to participate in it, right?
Of course.
You're not going to say, well, men have been raping women for years. They'll always be raping women, so I might as well go out and do it too. I mean, that's not a justification for your actions.
Yeah.
So it's your choice. How do you justify it in your head? And what I like about veganism is it doesn't take a law to be passed. It doesn't take anything. All it takes is for you to say no to an animal on your plate, which you can do 3 times a day.
I guess so, but I feel like some people just aren't meant to consume plants. For example, some people do have health issues when consuming pure plants, and I remember there was this one lady that was trying to become vegan, and then her doctor told her that she had to eat salmon or else she would get more and more ill. So in that sense, I feel like some people just aren't meant to just eat plants.
Can you name something that we need from animals that we don't get from plants?
I feel like we could get everything from plants, but it's just too small of an amount. Like going back to tofu, like small little cubes compared to like a little chunk of meat, you'll get a lot more protein out of that chunk of meat than that small little cube of tofu.
And you also get cholesterol and saturated fat.
I mean, yeah, but from the tofu you would also get other things such as like small, like good amounts of like fat as well. I forgot what they made out of tofu. Soybeans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's all kinds of documentaries out about vegan health. Have you seen any of them?
Not fully, but I have skimmed through some of them.
If I gave you a card with some information on it, that there's some videos that you could look at, would you be interested in looking at them?
Sure.
This talks about the different documentaries. This is about health,
Mm-hmm.
the environment, and ethics part of it. In fact, there was a report done by the Oxford University a couple years, like 2017, that said that our raising animals to eat is actually killing the planet. The best thing we can do for the planet is to go vegan. So consuming animals is destroying our planet, it's destroying our health, and it's terrible for the animals. I've never heard of any hospital that's full of vegans that's being sick. If you look at the patients in the hospitals, they're mostly meat eaters.
Yeah. Guess so.
And how about for yourself?
I mean, you know, of course, I'm not a vegan, but, you know, I do have a weak immune system, so I'm always in the hospital, so, you know, I can't really say anything about that, so.
Oh, veganism is perfect for your immunity. Vegans get sick far less.
No.
You've got to watch these health ones. You'll be so happy to find this health information.
Oh no, I've tried everything already. The doctors just said it was a disorder, so I'm just stuck with it now.
Probably, the thing is that doctors are not necessarily vegans. They only get probably 4 hours of nutrition training in their whole medical field. So a doctor who's not interested in veganism is not going to tell you how veganism is going to help you.
I guess so.
But like I said, watch the documentaries on the health. It's very, very eye-opening.
All right, of course. Well, I gotta get to work.
Okay, well, thank you. It was nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you as well.
Thank you.
Agree to disagree.
Well, look, check it out and let me know what you think.
Of course.